We know that pesticides are lethal. We know that pesticides kill, cause cancer. We know all that.
Punjab is heading toward a catastrophe. Punjab is heading towards a health disaster.
The time has come for us to say enough is enough. We're not going to tolerate this kind of nonsense anymore.
People who are doing the spraying, many of them do not know what the hazards are. And many people do not know that when you mix it with your hand, it is absorbed through the skin. Studies have shown the health impact on the people who are using and also on the family members of those who've been using pesticides.
The acute symptoms starts with vomiting, headaches and diarrhea and a whole bunch of things. People don't take it seriously because they are doing all these things either from a dream of having a good crop and sending their children out to the school. They want to really prosper.
The production and use of pesticides and the effects it has on the health of farmers and plantation workers in countries as varied as Nicaragua, Argentina, India, Philippines makes clear that this is a global problem where there are global players and global effects both on health and on the environment.
Corporations are not being held accountable where they're operating, but they're not being held accountable either where they're based.
जो बाहरलियां कंपनियां भेज देती हैं भी साल में हम 3 फसलों तैयार कर देंगे, साल में हम 4 फसलों तैयार कर देंगे, हम सुनो ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट देंगे कि जे छोटे देश में साल में 2 फसल होती है तो 3 फसल होएगी, 4 होएगी और झाड़ बढ़ेगा। झाड़ बढ़ाने के लिए प्रोजेक्ट भेजती हैं कंपनियां, लोग इसकी यूज करके इसका झाड़ बढ़ाते हैं, 4-4 फसलों एक साल में लेते हैं।
हम कई बार स्प्रे पंप खरीदते हैं। एक बार वो सरकारी सब्सिडी पर आए थे स्प्रे पंप, उसके साथ था एक तो मास्क था ऐसे पहनने वाला मास्क था और एक ऐनक होती है और कुछ नहीं देती।
जो ऐनक था वो इतना घटिया क्वालिटी का था और बस लगाने के 5 मिनट नहीं तो टूट जाता था।
ऐसे ही देते हैं
5 मिनट
फॉर्मेलिटी ओनली।
Something is deemed restricted or outright banned in the producing country or the parent company's country, and yet they either export to or produce in another country, even though it's been deemed unhealthy for the populace in the home country. I mean, it's this double standard.
Is it possible to do a range of public interest cases on pesticides? I think the time has come.
Well, on to Punjab now, where nearly 100 villagers staged protests outside a district administrative complex in the state, demanding that the state takes cognizance of the deaths of their family members due to poisoning while spraying pesticides in their fields.
These farmers have been spraying pesticides for years in their fields, some even losing their lives due to poisoning.
The activism can go up to a certain extent. Beyond that, we need the legal action because it is the issue of the governance. It is the issue of justice.
In a major change of position, India today accepted at a World Convention in Geneva that the pesticide endosulfan is a health hazard.
At the Stockholm Convention in Geneva, an international treaty to protect people and environment from persistently toxic chemicals, concrete steps to try and ensure a worldwide endosulfan ban.
One way to deal with the problem of damages, health damages, environmental damages that are created by pesticides is to use public law and to try to do litigation against regulatory authorities or in general public bodies.
Public litigation is really focused on getting the state to do something or to stop doing something or to getting the courts to order regulatory agencies to revisit how they do their work.
By 2002, we had enough background materials to prove that endosulfan is capable of causing harm.
The court that had to decide on whether they should ban endosulfan or not, they couldn't scientifically prove that it will lead to this and that and this and that disease, but they knew that there's a correlation. What the court simply did is said, the risks are so high to human health and the environment, we have to ban the pesticides, because otherwise we run into risks that we can't really afford as a society.
We should not wait for a day when we can directly attribute that this particular pesticide causes this particular problem, so let's not use this pesticide. There is still a lot of positive association in several studies across the world. We should adopt something on the basis of precautionary principle.
The kind of a public level action, you need to prove it as a public issue. So like the governments to act, you need to really prove it as the issue of the society.
This is clearly one option that is strongly appealing because it solves the problem in a structural way. When it comes to what you actually take away with these kind of actions, one big problem is that the damages mostly occur in the countries of the global south. And there may be a court order saying this public body has to perform in a certain way, but at the same time, these bodies don't even have the resources to do so. So in the end, you may have a favorable court order, but in reality, nothing will change.
So the weakness of public litigation is if government agencies refuse to comply with court orders, then you will not be able to get what it is that you want. And in the meantime, people are suffering. People have experienced the damage that pesticides have caused in their communities. We have to hold corporations accountable for the damage that they have caused to the communities. And that is where private litigation comes in.
A court in the French city of Lyon has ruled US pesticides maker Monsanto was responsible for the poisoning of a farmer who'd used one of their products on his crops. The farmer claimed Monsanto was at fault for not providing adequate warnings on the product label.
A company is not just one single entity, but it's a whole group. There's a parent company that usually controls the group to a certain degree, and there are subsidiaries in various places all over the world. So you have a parent company and you have a subsidiary. And one basic thing everybody has to understand in corporate law is that those are separate entities.
In terms of private litigation, consumers of pesticides have filed lawsuits against the manufacturing company for the fact that the pesticide didn't actually do what it was supposed to do, or that the pesticide actually harmed the plant or tree product on which they sprayed it. You might be able to file a claim which is called the tort of negligence, which is a claim that anyone can file against another party for a harm that occurred and for which the other party breached a so-called duty of care. There's a possibility to file a claim which is called a product liability claim, where you would argue that the product was defective or that the manufacturer failed to warn properly about the dangers of that product.
Challenges for farmers who would want to bring this kind of litigation is then, like, how do they make sure that they have enough evidence to prove that it is this particular pesticide that caused the damage?
We have this methodology called the Community Pesticide Action Monitoring, or CPAM, which is a participatory action research that we have developed together with our partners in many countries in Asia. And the idea is to really get the communities to document the impact of pesticides on their health and the environment. So we develop questionnaires, we develop tools for how they would be able to document every time they spray what are the signs and symptoms that they're feeling, and document that regularly.
There are other ways in which lawsuits have been filed against manufacturers. There has been a claim which was filed for false advertisement. Monsanto had made claims that its product was safe for the environment. In the end, Monsanto had to take out all the advertisements that made these false claims about the safety of its product. Then there's a third avenue, that is mechanisms that you have at the level of the United Nations. Within that, there's also the mechanism of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization on the specific usage of pesticides.
The UN Food and Agriculture Organization has developed a specific code of conduct for pesticide management. There are a lot of requirements for governments, but there are also quite clear requirements for pesticide producers. There is now a possibility to make a complaint that this code of conduct have not been followed. It's helpful for the broader communication.
The Stockholm Convention is on the persistent organopollutants, and these are the pesticides and chemicals that are very persistent in the environment. The Stockholm Convention is very useful as a tool because it's a global ban.
We said endosulfan need to be banned. The endosulfan manufacturer said you can never get it banned, so waste your work. And we got it banned globally.
The core of the Rotterdam Convention is what they call PIC, the prior informed consent. When a pesticide is listed under Rotterdam, this means that if somebody likes to export a pesticide into this country, he needs the prior informed consent, so an explicit consent.
On the level of litigation, transnational collaboration is needed. It would mean that you need knowledge about different legal systems. It would mean that you need knowledge about the operation of the different companies, the parent company, the subsidiaries in different countries, and that having different actors with a differential access to information, to resources, that only that collaboration can actually reach the kind of accountability that would do justice to the harms that are caused.
All public interest litigation is actually not lawyer driven. All public interest litigation is actually network oriented. In large measure, it comes from the NGOs, the civil society organizations, the farmers, the workers groups. It is they who are the basis and foundation of any public interest case.
We have to keep on listening to what the people on the ground are saying. You have to be very, very connected with them to make sure that you're properly representing them and giving them a voice in this very, very big litigation that is brought on their behalf, to make sure that they are given justice for the damage that has been caused to them.
Law in itself is not something that you can rely upon to get easy justice. Law is just one of the tools that you have if you look at how to achieve your goal, whether that goal is to achieve compensation, whether that goal is to achieve a ban of a certain pesticide, or to achieve that a company does a different kind of labeling, a different kind of warning, a different kind of training, provision of protective equipment. Law can be one of these tools, and they can be used strategically in combination with other kinds of actions, whether it is lobbying, advocacy, or actions in the streets.